Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 was the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime we ever received, and because of this, it was able to escape the censorship that later series would unfortunately be victim to, and I do feel that it was able to bring Kazuki Takahashi's vision to life, particularly one aspect of his vision, that being a shadow game, which I feel are the highlight of this series. At the beginning of the series, Yugi doesn't have many friends, and he doesn't enjoy fighting or violence whatsoever. This isn't going to turn out well for Yugi because the main villain of this first episode is Ushio, who makes himself Yugi's bodyguard, which may seem like a good thing at first, but Ushio isn't actually an anti-bullying figure, he's just someone who likes to beat people up, but we'll get back to him soon. Yugi describes the Millennium Puzzle as an item that once assembled will grant any wish. Once Yugi gets home, his grandpa elaborates on the history of the Millennium Puzzle, saying that the excavation team that found the Pharaoh's box that contained the pieces of the Millennium Puzzle all mysteriously died in the excavation. Yugi's grandpa also reads what is engraved onto the box: "The one who solves me will receive my dark knowledge and power." This does nothing but encourage Yugi to try and finish the puzzle, but he ends up falling asleep, still unable to finish it. And when he arrives at school the next day, Ushio claims he has something to show him, and what he shows Yugi is Junichi and Honda injured. Ushio seems to believe that this is what Yugi would have wanted, as he was acting as Yugi's bodyguard and protecting him from bullies. But Yugi doesn't get any joy or satisfaction from this whatsoever, and the only person who seems to is Ushio. Yugi chooses to focus on what their intention was rather than what they did. So Yugi stands in front of Junichi and Honda, hoping to protect them from Ushio. He then tells Yugi that he needs to give him his bodyguard fees by tomorrow. And at home, Yugi is trying to assemble the Millennium Puzzle, thinking about how he can't pay the bodyguard fees. However, as he's thinking this, he realizes he's completed the Millennium Puzzle. All that's missing is the last piece, so he reaches into the box to find it and it's gone. However, we also see that Junichi has found the final piece in a river, and he tries to find Yugi to give it to him, but by the time he gets to him, he just sees him on the floor collapsed, with Ushio standing over him. Junichi and Honda attempt to fight Ushio, however Ushio sends them both to the floor with ease. Yugi wakes up feeling helpless, seeing that Junichi and Honda are both on the floor. But he also realizes that the final piece of the puzzle is in his hand, so he puts the last piece in its place, and an ominous shadow begins to crawl up the wall. A beam of light strikes the sky and a wind begins to kick up, which gains the attention of Ushio, and even before he fully appears on screen, Dark Yugi states, "It's game time." Ushio is shocked as suddenly he's hanging at the side of a building. He looks up and sees the Millennium Puzzle illuminate Dark Yugi, who says, "I've got what you want right here." And Ushio believes he's talking about the bodyguard fee, but Dark Yugi doesn't want to just hand it over. He wants to play a game for it. And Ushio responds by saying, "I, Ushio, have never lost at any game." So it is in fact confirmed Ushio is the king of games in Season 0. But jokes aside, this is the first shadow game, and it's a strange but simple to follow game. Both Ushio and Dark Yugi are suspended from a rope at the top of a building, and Dark Yugi lays cards out all down the side of that building. The game is, you pick a card, flip it over, and move up by the value that showed on the card. You'll notice that Dark Yugi is very willing to play his own games, and an important point to make is that he likes to play them fair. As he closes in on victory, ascending to the top of the tower, he claims that he's won, but Ushio begins climbing the building without revealing a card, and since he cheated, he has to face punishment. Ushio swings at Dark Yugi, who simply jumps and falls off of the building, much to the satisfaction of Ushio. But this satisfaction quickly turns to anger as he looks for the money that he is owed and finds only a deck of cards. And this anger then turns to fear as Dark Yugi says, "The door of darkness opens." Ushio begins to fall and Dark Yugi ascends, saying that a shadow game reveals a person's true character, and you will be swallowed in your own greed. Ushio's fear briefly turns to arrogance as he believes he'll just fall into the water. However, suddenly he sees worm-like creatures with sharp teeth emerge from the water, and the next we see Ushio, he's curled up in a ball surrounded by his classmates, saying that he's scared with tears on his face. A complete contrast to the man we saw at the start of the episode. This goes to show what a traumatizing effect a shadow game can have on someone and sets the tone for how powerful they can be, and by extension, how powerful and dangerous this new mysterious figure could be, making it simultaneously a great introduction for Dark Yugi, but also shadow games as a whole. The reason I enjoy this introduction to shadow games so much is that it's completely unfiltered and uncensored. Shadow games are given the necessary threat and danger that they deserve. Not only this, but there is a different game for every shadow game, which keeps it interesting and fresh. Overall, shadow games in Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, especially the first one which introduces them, have a real mystical feeling to them. There are interesting new games every time, high stakes, and big consequences, all of which make Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 a joy to watch. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and let me know what you'd want to see next in the comments below.